Good evening, everyone. This is Perry again from the Hampton Network. So I want to bring you guys a great video today with what I would call some breaking news regarding Bakkt. I'll kind of let you know exactly what's going on with Bakkt. We'll go ahead and we'll be discussing also some news from Goldman Sachs, and I'll also cover an update. It's actually, I think, a very good update on Binance. So today is Sunday. It's about 5 o'clock Sunday evening on August 18th. So just kind of want to jump right into it and start with the breaking news from Bakkt. Bakkt says it's cleared to launch Bitcoin futures next month. That's very exciting news. And I want to just kind of read a little bit from the article, and then I'll summarize it as we go along. So the article states Bakkt has been cleared to launch. The Intercontinental Exchange Young's subsidiary, which is Bakkt, announced Friday that it had acquired a New York State trust charter through the New York State Department of Financial Services, the NYDFS. The approval clears the way for the company to begin offering its highly anticipated physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts. It's very important that you remember physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts. So the company intends to launch its products on September 23rd. The article goes on further to say in a blog post Friday, Bakkt CEO Kelly Loeffler wrote, "Our contracts have already received the green light from the CFTC through the self-certification process, and user acceptance testing has already begun. And with the approval by the New York State Department of Financial Services to create Bakkt Trust Company, a qualified custodian." I will kind of go over what exactly a custodian is here shortly. So the Bakkt warehouse will custody Bitcoin for physically delivered futures, she said. This offers customers unprecedented regulatory clarity and security alongside a regulated, globally accessible exchange and a market underserved by institutional grade infrastructure. So basically, all that really means, finally, Bakkt has been trying to get this approval, I think, for about a year now. And by the way, this approval was just announced on Friday, August 16th. So basically, one thing that can happen with this, and this is major news, because by them being Bakkt, taking the physically settled assets such as Bitcoin off the market, that's definitely going to create scarcity. And the biggest part is it's going to bring in a lot of money. And this is institutional investor money, not just the retail investors like you and I. These are actually huge hedge funds that bring in tens of billions and even hundreds of billions of dollars into this space, something that we've long needed. Now, they said they're going to launch these Bitcoin futures on September 23rd, so you'll have to, kind of take a look at the price of Bitcoin to see how it reacts to this news. And once again, everything I'm going to tell you, it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. My opinions expressed are just that. They're just my opinions. But I will say, if you haven't really considered making an investment into Bitcoin, after this news, you definitely may want to reconsider. I'd also like to say that I'd also be looking at some other of the large cap cryptocurrencies that I'm looking at is Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. I'm already investing on a recurring basis into Bitcoin and Ethereum. I've been doing this for many, many, many months. But I'm also going to look into, I also have a position in Litecoin, and I'm going to pick up a position in Bitcoin Cash. So just keep your eye on the markets. Based on this news, I suspect that even though the market is the price have increased just a little bit, I do expect possibly, no one can predict the market, let me just say that. I do expect possibly that there may be a decrease one more time, at least I hope so, because it's going to give folks more opportunity to actually accumulate Bitcoin. And also back in 2017, we had what I like to call the retail mania when we had our last bull run and Bitcoin kind of reached its all-time high. I actually think this time is going to be much different because it's institutional investors along with the retail investors in this space. So I definitely expect Bitcoin to exceed the all-time high, which was roughly right at 20,000 back in late 2017, 2018. So, there's been YouTubers and, other analysts and pundits saying that they think, we could see a $50,000 Bitcoin in early 2020. going up to possibly 100,000, even 250,000 sometime in 2020. Like I said, no one can predict the market. This is just what some folks are speculating, so I think it's a great time in this market. So moving on with the article, they also say the daily contract is designed to provide a margin instrument, she said. So when you think about transacting on the futures exchange, you're operating within a federally regulated exchange. Lawfully didn't say how much leverage would be available on the margin contracts. Such details are to be expected to be released in the coming weeks. So leverage, leverage is a great concept, but you have to know what you're doing. And like I said, I don't know how much leverage they're going to be given, whether it's going to be 5x, 10x, or possibly 100x, which I doubt. But like I said, trading and leverage can be dangerous, if you do not know what you're doing, because you can pretty much lose a lot of your money. So there will be more to come on that in the future. So I'd like to know your thoughts down in the comments. If you think this is a great thing for the space, if you think the prices of Bitcoin are going to increase drastically in the next few months, just shoot a comment or just put a comment in the section below. And also ask if you like the content of the video, please like and subscribe and share with your friends, and also click the notification bell so you can be, notified of further, or not further, but future videos. So let's move on here. I'm trying to keep this video short. Hopefully I'll make it in under 10 minutes, but we'll try. So I mentioned custody. What I want to do is I wanted to Investopedia just so folks could actually know. I like to put everything in layman's terms, but I want to give you the Investopedia definition of what are cryptocurrency custody solutions. So they say, put simply, cryptocurrency custody solutions are third-party providers of storage and security services for cryptocurrencies. Their services are mainly aimed at institutional investors, such as hedge funds, who hold large amounts of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. The solution generally incorporate a combination of hot storage or crypto custody with connection to the internet, and cold storage or crypto custody that is disconnected from the internet. So in other words, when they store the physically backed Bitcoin, it's actually very regulated and safe and secure. This is the only way that these hedge funds and institutional investors are going to trust their money in this space. So that's actually a wonderful thing. So there'll be more to come on that in the future. So moving on to more news, I want to just kind of show you the proof that the NYDFS has actually granted the approval. So it says the New York Superintendent of Financial Services, Linda A. Lacewell, announced today that the New York State Department of Financial Services has granted a charter under New York banking law to Bakkt Trust Company, LLC, to operate as a limited liability trust company. With the comprehensive regulatory review and approval of Bakkt Trust Company complete, we are pleased to serve as a qualified custodian of Bitcoin for physically delivered futures, said Adam White, Chief Operating Officer of Bakkt. We appreciate the work that the DFS has undertaken to bring a standardized regulatory framework to digital assets, particularly in the area of secure custody. This now enables us to offer institutional-grade custody via the Bakkt warehouse alongside the federally regulated Bakkt Bitcoin futures contract. So I just want to kind of show you that this is legit, as you can see here. And what I'll do is I'll also put a link to these articles in the description below. So moving on to Binance. So this is interesting here. Binance removes U.S. resident ban, and they plan to launch in a month or two. If you noticed in one of the other videos, one of my prior videos, I mentioned that Bakkt was going to remove its support for U.S. customers on September 12th. It seems that they've kind of had a change of heart. I kind of have an idea as to why. But let me just read a little bit of this, and then we'll go ahead and I'll give you a summary. So as Binance CEO confirmed that its American branch will open within a month or two, the exchange also appears to have removed the previously reported ban for U.S. residents on its main trading platform. In an interview with Cheddar on Thursday, Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao said that the planned U.S. regulated exchange that there are a lot of things in flux, but I would say will launch in a month or two. However, reported in June, Binance has already communicated to their customers in the U.S. that U.S. residents will be prohibited from using the platform starting from September 12th. It goes on further to state, now, however, Binance's terms of use, last time it was revised on August 15th, this is very important, it suggests that the exchange has already softened its stance on the issue, removing any explicit mention of prohibition of use for U.S. persons. So, their new terms of use here states, I know it's boring, but I have to read it. It says on Section 3, prohibition of use, by accessing and using the services you represent and warrant that you are not on any trade or economic sanctions list, such as the UN Security Council sanctions list, designated as a specially designated national by OFAC, the Office of Foreign Assets Control of the United States Treasury Department, or placed on the U.S. Commerce Department's denied persons list. Binance maintains the right to select its markets and jurisdictions to operate and may restrict or deny the services in any certain countries at its discretion. Now, this is the interesting part. Compared to the wording in June, it stated Binance is unable to provide services to any U.S. person. So the difference is obvious. So it seems that they've kind of switched their position. I don't necessarily blame them, especially being that roughly 20 to 30% of their customer base is right here in the United States. So what they're probably going to do is allow all the U.S. customers to stay on the Binance.com platform until September 12th, or whenever they launch the Binance US. They'll keep us on at that point, and then they'll just kind of migrate us over to Binance US. That's just pure speculation on my part. That may be how they're going to do it. And 9 times out of 10, I think that's really what they're going to do. So, like I said, if you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments below. Moving on. More major news here with Goldman Sachs. As you can see here, Goldman Sachs analyst says that it's time to buy Bitcoin. Very interesting. So, they go on further to say Goldman Sachs Securities Division analysts and a note to investors have shared a bullish attitude toward Bitcoin. They even encourage investors to buy Bitcoin on this dip. So, now you're going to see as I read further the time to buy. Once again, this is not financial advice. I would say accumulate if you have the ability to accumulate as much as you can afford, because at some point I think the prices are going to get out of hand. It's going to get too high, and not a lot of people are going to be able to afford it. So let me just talk to you about this note that, from the Goldman Sachs analysts. So in short, the experts are quite bullish for Bitcoin to go up. Basically, they have set up a short-term price target of 13,971. Specifically that particular target. They're going further to say, but this is a short-term prediction. What about long-term? Well, according to Goldman Sachs analysts, anything below 13,000 is an indication to accumulate. So, having said that, I'll also check the markets. Let me just check coin market cap to see where we're currently trading at. Okay, right now we're trading at 10,406, and that represents an increase of almost 2.4%. As you can see, I see a lot of green in the market today, but not a lot of red at all. I've seen it's just a lot of green in the market. They could be reacting to this news, or it could be a number of things. But once again, no one can predict the market. But with the actual news from Bakkt, Binance, and Goldman Sachs, I think it's going to be a great time in this space, and in the future, I can certainly see significant increases in this market. So also one other thing I want to mention on Bakkt, they're going to start out with the Bitcoin futures. Also, think that they're probably going to move on to Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash as well, probably perhaps early next year. So once again, you may want to take a look at those other large cap coins, and if you can, invest in them as much as you can afford. You may want to do that, but once again, finally, this is not financial advice, and I'm not your financial advisor. No one can predict the markets. Only only invest what you're willing to lose, or what you can afford to invest in. So once again, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Also share it with your friends. Also want to let you know in our future videos, I'm going to have some been doing a couple of beginner tutorial cloud-based software apps. These will be basically for affiliate marketers, content marketers, digital marketers, bloggers, and, website owners. It'll be some very, very interesting videos. And these cloud-based apps that I'm going to be doing tutorials on, I actually own these apps. I'll actually go in my back office and show you how they work. I think you'll certainly find it interesting and very lucrative. So there'll be some, we have some great upcoming videos. So I want to keep this video short. I'm sorry I went over 10 minutes. Actually, I'm at 15 minutes. But I certainly hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday evening. And we'll see you next time. Take care.